Starting in 1937, Hawaii was experiencing a major agricultural issue.
No cure, and so the only cure was move on to another virus-free area. But again, viruses have a way of spreading around, and eventually those fields got infected.
An outbreak of the ring spot virus was severely affecting the papaya growth in the region.
It came to a point where, do I continue farming or do I get out? That's how devastating it is.
The issue continued and got worse through the decades, and the population of papaya trees in the islands was in danger of being erased. Between 1992 and 1997, nearly all the crops were affected, and the papaya industry, which was worth $11 million annually, was in dire need of a solution. In an attempt to save the fruit, researchers developed a genetically modified variety of papaya that was resistant to the virus. The method worked. The industry came back from the brink, and you can still enjoy a fresh, juicy papaya from Hawaii every summer. But wait, genetically modified? That means these new fruits were GMOs. Isn't that supposed to be really bad for our health? Not exactly. Genetic modification of plants and animals has been a thing for thousands and thousands of years. Wild wolves didn't become the adorable house dogs they are now without our help. And when corn was first domesticated, it was not the big and nutritious plant it is now. By selecting subjects that have favorable genes and crossbreeding them with each other, humans have been altering the genetics of various organisms for a long time. But when the same thing was done using genetic engineering to improve agriculture, it caused a huge public outcry. Well, they are not exactly the same thing. Selective breeding involves breeding organisms of the same kind. But when genetically modifying an organism, the DNA of another gets used. This is called transgenesis. Let's say you want to make your corn crops more resistant to insects in a way. You find an organism that has a gene that offers protection against them, in corn's case, Bacillus thuringiensis. This bacteria produces a natural insecticide. You isolate and extract the DNA that gives the insecticide trait. Copying the DNA and inserting it into the cells of corn will make it poisonous to insects, therefore reducing the need for pesticides. GMOs are maybe the biggest controversy surrounding food we have ever experienced. Only 37% of adults in the U.S. believe that GMO foods are safe to eat. Even if 88% of scientists from the American Association for the Advancement of Science thought they were fine to eat, the general public has had a hard time trusting them. But why is that the case? Some people genuinely react to GMO foods like they're poison, even when accepting them would be in their best interest. Take what happened with golden rice, for example. Vitamin A deficiency is a worldwide problem. It is estimated that more than 250,000 children every year lose their eyesight due to a lack of vitamin A in their diets. Half of those children who become blind lose their lives within the next 12 months. To make this essential micronutrient more available to the public, a new type of rice was developed called the golden rice, which was rich in vitamin A. You think people would be grateful, but in the Philippines, a group of nearly 50 people stormed a facility where a field test was taking place. The protesters made their stance concerning GMOs clear by destroying the crops. This opposition to genetic engineering is not justified or backed by logic. The truth is, you probably already consume more GMO food than you realize. 88% of corn and 94% of soybeans in the U.S. are genetically modified. Even if you don't eat soybeans or corn directly, both plants are used in so many of the foods we eat on a daily basis. And why didn't they make us all sick yet? Because there is no conclusive evidence that suggests eating GMO food is more harmful than non-GMO food. While they are not directly harmful to you, they can be dangerous in other ways. Genetic engineering has been used to make some crops more resistant to pesticides. That means farmers can use excessive amounts of pesticide without harming the plant. But overusage of these harmful chemicals can damage the environment and be a risk factor for the people applying them. GMOs are not inherently good or bad. The public outrage about them has always been overblown. Genetically modifying crops can increase productivity, make food more nutritious, and reduce the amount of resources we need in agriculture. It's just another tool that we need to use the right way to take advantage of it to the fullest.